Shalom and good day. Welcome to day 5, BARASHITH, Genesis. And today I'm going to go ahead and read 5, 6, and 7 because I took a break during the Sabbath and just the whole weekend to not be on my device and just to be resting in Yahuah, spending time with my children. So let's get back to our reading. BARASHITH, Genesis 5. This is the book of the genealogy of Adam. In the yom that Elohim created man, he made him in the likeness of Elohim. Male and female he created them. And he blessed them and called their name Adam in the yom that they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and brought forth a son in his own likeness after his image and called his name Sheth. And after he brought forth Sheth, the Yamin of Adam were 800 years. And he brought forth sons and daughters. And so all the Yamin that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Sheth lived 105 years, and brought forth Enoch. And after he brought forth Enoch, Sheth lived 807 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamin of Sheth were 912 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 90 years, and brought forth Kenan. And after he brought forth Kenan, Enoch lived 815 years, and brought forth Sheth, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamin of Enoch were 905 years, and he died. And Kenan lived 70 years, and brought forth Mahalalel. After he brought forth Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamin of Kenan were 912 years, and he died. And Mahalalel lived 65 years, and brought forth Yared. And after he brought forth Yared, Mahalalel lived 830 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamin of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Yared lived 162 years, and brought forth Kanok. And after he brought forth Kanok, Yared lived 800 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamin of Yared were 962 years, and he died. And Kanok lived 65 years, and brought forth Methuselah. And after he brought forth Methuselah, Kanok walked the Elohim for 300 years. So Kanok is Enoch. Because Kanok walked with Elohim 300 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamam of Kanok were 365 years, and Kanok walked with Elohim. Then he was no more, for Elohim took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years, and brought forth Lamech. And after he brought forth Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamin of Methuselah, 782 years, of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and brought forth a son, and called his name Noah, saying, This one does comfort concerning our work, and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which Yahuah has cursed. And after he brought forth Noah, Lamech lived 595 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the Yamam of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noach was 500 years old, and Noach brought forth Shem, Ham, and Yapeth. BARASHITH, Genesis, chapter 6. And it came to be, when men began to increase on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were good, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And Yahuah said, My Ruach shall not strive with man forever in his going astray. He is flesh, and his Yamim shall be 120 years. The Nephilim, fallen ones, were on the Oretz in those Yaman, in those days. And also afterward, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, and bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, the men of name. And Yahuah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the Eretz, and that every inclination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuah was sorry that he had made man on the Eretz, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahuah said, I'm going to wipe off man, whom I have created from the face of the Eretz, both man and beast, creeping creature and birds of the Shamamim, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noach found favor in the eyes of Yahuah. This is the genealogy of Noach. Noach was an obedient man, perfect in his generations. Noach walked with Elohim, and Noach brought forth 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Yapeth. And the Eretz was corrupt before Elohim, and the Eretz was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the Eretz and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the Eretz. And Elohim said to Noach, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the Eretz is filled with violence through them, and I see I'm going to destroy them from the Eretz. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and outside with tar. And this is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 30 cubits, its width 50 cubits, its height 30 cubits. Make a window for the ark. Complete it with a cubit from above, and set a door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing floodwaters on the Eretz to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life from under the Shamamim. All that is on the Eretz is to die. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, for you and your sons and your Asha and your sons' wives with you, and all the living creatures of all flesh, to each you are to bring into the ark. Keep them alive with you, a male and female, of the birds after their kind, and of the cattle after their kind, and all creeping creatures of the Eretz after their kind. 2 of each are to come to you, to keep them alive. As for you, take of all the food that is eaten and gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. And Noach did according to all that Elohim commanded them. So he did. Chapter 7. And Yahuah said to Noach, come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are obedient before me in this generation. Of all these clean beasts take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, and of the beasts that are unclean too, a male and his female, and the birds of the Shamamim, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of the Eretz. For after 7 more Yamin, I am sending rain on the Eretz, 40 Yamin and 40 Lilas, 40 days and 40 nights, shall wipe from the face of the Eretz all that stand that I created. And Noach did according to all that Yahuah commanded him. For Noach was 600 years old when the flood Maim were on the Eretz. And Noach and his sons and his Asha and his sons and wives went into the ark because of the Mayim of the flood, and of the clean beasts and of the beasts that are unclean, and the birds and all that creep on the Eretz 2 by 2. They walked the ark to Noach, male and female, as Elohim had commanded Noach. And it came to be after 7 Yamin that the mayhem and the flood were on the Eretz. And in the 600th year of Noach's life, and in the 2nd month, in the 17th Yam day of the month, on that Yam, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the Shamamim were opened. And the rain was on the Eretz 40 Yamin and 40 Laylas. And on the same Yam, Noach and Shem and Ham and Yapeth, the sons of Noach, and Noach's Asah, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark. And they and every living creature after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the Eretz after its kind, and every bird after its kind, and every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark, and Noah, 2 by 2, all the flesh which is of the breath of life, and those going in, male and female, of all flesh, went in as Elohim had commanded them, and Yahuah shut him in. And the flood was on the Eretz 40 yamin, and the Mayam increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the Eretz. And the Mayam were mighty, and greatly increased on the Eretz, and the ark moved about on the surface of the Mayim. And the Amayim were exceedingly mighty Eretz, and high, and all the high mountains under all the Shamamim were covered. The Mayim became mighty, 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved on the Eretz, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping creature that creeps on the Eretz, and all mankind, all in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life. All that was on the dry land died. So he wiped off all that stand, which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and bird of the Shamayim, and they were wiped off from the Eretz. And only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark, and the Mayhem were mighty on the Eretz, 150 yamin.